Welcome to our Savvy series. I'm Catherine Magana here with Rachel Ivanovich. And if you'd like to set up a call with us or a consultation, you can reach us at 760-692-5190. We also host educational workshops. We're committed to hosting live events every month, and we actually have one coming up, Retirement by Design, tonight. So hopefully you can join us if you can. We also have webinars and future events that are coming up. But let's dig in. So we have been really focusing and talking a lot about retirement. There's been a lot of clients we've been working with recently, and we just kind of want to share some things that have come up regarding some maybe mistakes that we've seen. One is not saving enough. So obviously, women living a little bit longer, we've talked about that, but also maybe not putting enough of their income away now for their future retirement. So we just want to make sure that that's part of the discussion as you're looking at your future. Doesn't matter what age you are, but are you saving enough of your income for retirement? Or if you're approaching retirement, are you, what is that? Do you have enough that's going to be set aside? And so some of the things that have surfaced in kind of one of the, we've worked with a client in the past, and we had a plan in place and everything was going wonderful, but then life happens and things change, and unfortunately her daughter went through a divorce, and she wanted to step in and help, and so that required more financial commitment to her daughter's family and the kids, and so, but looking back at that and kind of looking at the financial plan, the plan wasn't to do that, and so you kind of have to revisit. Okay, well then, do you have enough if you're to take care of the family, or for how long? And so it's hard, being a mother and having kids, and you want to do things for them, but at some point you also have to take care of yourself. So that's definitely something.
And it also affects in the taking care of a parent sort of situation as well, because oftentimes you have your plan in place and you're moving right along, and you think, oh wait, I'm going to be an empty nester. Oh, think again.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden maybe you have to take care of an elderly parent. So then that also takes away from the amount of time maybe that you're working and the amount of money that you're able to put away for retirement. But there are many moves that women can make to narrow that gap so that they do have enough money set aside for retirement. So one of those steps is to really start taking a look in the mirror of where your finances are right now. So first step is awareness. Yeah. And how much money do I have? How many more years am I going to be working? And what do I need to do in the meantime to make up the difference?
Well, it's interesting you talk about that is there's a lot of baby boomers. We're just sharing that
There's a great statistic. I don't even know where I read it, but it was something along the lines of 10,000 baby boomers are retiring every single day between now and the next 10 years.
And I came across an article that was saying that retirement age actually used to be 59 and now it's 62. But it's interesting
read that too,
because I actually see people working a little longer. I mean, I'm seeing 67, 70, 75, but I think sometimes, some people want to continue to work. So it's not I
can't even imagine retire at 59.
Yeah, it seems
You're so young.
I know. It's like, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
And so it's just, once again, looking at, well, one, if you have enough, do you, can you retire, or you may enjoy what you do and you just want to,
Or maybe you want to start a side business and explore a passion, something that you've been passionate about your whole life, and it will make some money.
And then you kind of think back to where in the past, our grandparents they had pensions and some other retirement resources. Now a lot of families have Social Security, or they have some retirement assets in IRAs or an old 401ks. But is that, if it's just Social Security, is that enough to live on? And that, that's the question, is it going to be there, or how much, is it going to be reduced?
Yeah, and I think honestly that is one of the reasons why the government is incentivizing 401k plans and really pushing 401k plans, 403b plans, other what they call qualified plans. They've raised the limits of how much you can defer of your salary every year, and I really feel that women need to know what their employer is offering and take advantage of all of the benefits that are available from your employer. If you don't know what they are, go to HR and become informed, understand what quote unquote free money your employer is willing to give you.
So not only the match, but also if you are able to save some of your income, like we talked about not saving enough, if you can save some more of your income, and there's catch-ups and there's different things you could do if you're a little bit further along in age that you're trying to make up for some time too.
Another thing that employers may offer that oftentimes I find women not even taking advantage of is dependent care benefits. And so you can defer $5,000 annually into basically a savings account that you can draw from to pay for childcare and or maybe you're taking care of an elderly parent. You can use those funds, and it's tax-free money. So you can do that through your employer. So I definitely would suggest, if you don't know if your employer offers it or not, make sure you're asking.
So that kind of ties in. It's, taxes are approaching, and here we are. It's like, oh,
Yes,
it's
and they
knocking
pushed
at our
out
door.
the tax deadline again for San Diegans. I don't know whether to cry or laugh.
It's like, not again.
Yeah, so for San Diegans, June 17th, 2024 is the new deadline to file and pay your taxes. That also goes for contributions to individual IRAs and to health savings accounts. Typically, you have until April 15th to fund individual IRAs and traditional IRAs, Roth IRAs. But now you have until June 17th to do that. So that's very exciting. I think health savings accounts are a great way for women to save money to pay for medical expenses. You can elect a certain portion of your income to be set aside into, in essence, is a savings account that you can use, and it's triple tax advantaged, which means you're earning your money, you decide on a certain amount, you put that into the savings account, you get the tax deduction, so it reduces your taxable income. Then the earnings grow tax deferred, and then later, when you pull the money out to pay for qualified medical, dental, and other expenses, chiropractic, acupuncture, so on and so forth, you don't pay tax on that money as it comes out. Nice. So it's really a truly great way to save. And another nice thing about health savings accounts, it rolls over. The funds roll over from year to year.
I was going to say, you don't have to use it every year.
Correct.
So if you don't use it, then you can use it in the future and you can accumulate.
Definitely.
So it's not
yeah,
a bad
because
idea.
that's not to be confused with a flexible spending account, which you do lose at the end of the year. So you want to make sure what sort of account your employer offers. If it's a high deductible health plan, you can set up these savings accounts. And they're portable, which means if you leave your employer, that savings account goes with you. It doesn't belong at your employer's.
So once again, going back to looking at your benefits, do you have access, or does your employer offer some of these different kind of vehicles that you have access to from a tax perspective?
I think it's really important to look at those every year. Same thing. So if your employer doesn't offer a 401k plan, then you can look into putting money into an individual retirement arrangement, which is an IRA. This year, $7,000. It's a fantastic way. If you haven't done it yet, you still have time, like I said.
Yes.
So definitely talk to us.
Yes, there you go.
We can help you.
And then I was looking at, there's obviously throughout the year, if you're doing things in your home, there's some deductions. I know there's this, energy efficiency types of things. And I was looking like, I put new windows in a couple years ago, and it's like, all these.
There are
things.
certain credits that are available. And so definitely, if you're making improvements to your home, keep those receipts, give them to your tax advisor because they're, if you're re-insulating your house, if you decide it's time for solar, the 30% credit is still available. So it reduces your tax bill dollar for dollar. So let's say you spend $30,000, it's about a $10,000 tax savings.
Yeah, which is a great savings.
Huge.
But then also, once again, how are you financing that? Are you paying out of pocket? Are you financing? So looking at how and what's that impact overall with your plan?
Some of those loans are a little tricky and the interest rates are really high. So
be
definitely
careful.
watch out that you do your due diligence when you get a loan from the solar companies. They really want
I
you to
know.
sign
They're
on that
like,
line.
I was to say, they're always knocking at the door. I mean, it seems like they're always.
I think I get a call every day.
And then it's interesting, in our home, we have these big trees. And they come by. We can't get solar in the way our house, the backyard's set up.
Too shady.
It is.
Oh, dear.
But I was like, okay, but they come by every time. It's like, unfortunately, we're not.
There are a lot of states that it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
For instance, Colorado, they have these huge hailstones that come down and they dent the solar panels.
Oh, goodness.
So yeah, maybe they'll do solar windows.
There you go. Oh, that'd be kind of interesting.
So the other thing that you can do, or a step that you can take to reduce that gap, is to really look at your long-term strategy and work with a professional to where can you cut back, or where are you spending that maybe you can reallocate those to, because a lot of times clients will come to me and say, well, I don't have enough money to, and then we go through their budget and we look at all the expenses and or we look at the tax strategy and make a couple of little tweaks, and all of a sudden you've got an extra $500, $1,000, and it all adds up.
Exactly. I think the part of that is when you're living day to day, or every year, and you're young, and you think retirement's is in the future. At some point, it's going to catch up to you. And we're not saying don't live your life and enjoy life, but we're also saying be mindful of how are you spending your money? Where's your money going? Are you saving enough for the future? Part of our Retirement by Design workshop we're doing today, we do cover a little bit about kind of living your life by design and kind of really taking a look at your expenses and how you're allocating your money. So I think it's not always that fun to do, but it's being having that awareness, and it can be fun. Like once you start seeing,
It can be fun. As you see your money grow, it's so much fun.
and you start saying, okay, this is what it's for, and this is the purpose. And when you start putting that perspective into kind of your spending habits and what it's for, then you see it a different way. Well, thank you for joining us this week. Once again, we have some live workshops coming up, and if you want to speak with Rachel or myself, you can reach us at 760-692-5190, and we'll see you next week. And savvy up! Please stay tuned for important regulatory disclosures.
Savvy Women Wealth Management is an SEC registered investment advisor. The opinions expressed in this program are for general informational purposes only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual or on any specific security. It is only intended to provide education about the financial industry and how we may be able to assist. To determine which investments may be appropriate for you, consult your financial advisor prior to investing. Any past performance discussed during this program is no guarantee of future results. As always, please remember investing involves risk and possible loss of principal capital. Tax considerations presented may not be appropriate for every individual circumstance. A tax professional should be consulted before making any decisions about your tax liability.